Manager Kid. I'm here in the Hudson Express, and here we will be going over the beautiful steering gear we have here. Alright. This is Hudson Express 6700 TEU container ship, and yeah, let's get into it. Sorry about the beard, please don't stick me. So, right behind me, you can see the 4 Janny pumps that we have. These are the hydraulic pumps that spin at 1,750 RPM, and they push the hydraulic fluid for this wraps in and slide type steering gear. As you can see, where I'm pointing at, the rudder post, all right there, and then the pins, and you can see those nice shiny hydraulic rams. The hydraulic rams that move it. Over there we have the 2 service tanks, so we'll go over there, take a closer look at those bad boys. See, that's the little indicator on these tanks. These tanks are what stores the hydraulic fluid for the pumps and what pushes the rams to move the steering gear. And you can see right here, this is the date, or this is how we fill it up. And see that red pump right there, that's a little hand pump that we use because we put the hydraulic fluid straight into there, and you can see it's piped all the way down over here and goes in right about here. Oh yeah, perfect. Into the top of the tank. It's a little hand pump. That's how we keep the levels full. Before we go in and out of port, we always check the levels, making sure they're all good. So like I said again, we got these beautiful hydraulic pumps all lined up right there, and they pump the hydraulic fluid. And you can see here, this pipe right here, try to get a closer look. This pipe right here is what where the hydraulic fluid goes in and takes suction. Same thing on the other side, but that's just a recirculating right there. That's just a recirculating hydraulic fluid. This is where it takes suction from the tank, and that's where it discharges into the tank right there. And this is the discharge right here that goes into the transfer valve right here. This controls where the hydraulic fluid goes. And we'll trace out that line real quick, but first, this is where, over here, the number 1, number 2 pumps take suction from the number 1 tank, and right here is where they discharge. Oh, sorry, not that line, this line. This is where these 2 lines are where they discharge into it. And on the other tank, it's the same thing for the 3 and 4. So let's get to it. The transfer valve, right here. This transfer valve. We'll wait till someone answers that line so we can actually hear me. Thank you, sorry, we're doing some alarm testing today. But right here, we got the transfer valve right here. This is what we control. So we can call out this line right here, and this line right there goes all the way. These 2 lines go back and forth in between each other. And this is how the number 1 and number 2 pumps. Pump 2 FIBO's aft ram and slide, where it pushes the what do you call it? Those aft compartments to push the piston and slide the rudder around to where it needs to go. These 2 pipes, and same thing goes for the other pipe. This pipe comes from the 3 and 4 to go to the most forward ones, and this one comes from the 1 and 2 to go back here. So that's how. So it doesn't matter what pumps. If all 3 pumps are down, it doesn't matter. We only need 1 pump to move. Move the rudder. You know, pretty simple system. There's not a lot to it, but we will get into the emergency steering. So as you can see on these Janny pumps, right there, those red levers. There's these red levers right over here. What I'm pushing right now. That is this is a technical term I looked up. Emergency manual mechanical lever. There you go. Emergency manual mechanical lever, straight from the manual. And that is what you would use in an emergency. These bad boys right here. If the bridge can't control the steering gear, that's what you're using. It's very, very inconvenient, and I wouldn't trust it because that's all you have, really. That and this gyro compass right here. They tell you to keep a heading, keep 184, and that's it. And you use that lever to push the pumps, to start the pumps, to push it where you want to go. So it's not a great system, I don't think so. It's going to be tough to do that on here, but that's the system we have. And that's why we always check before we leave port. We test an emergency communication, regular phone, sound-powered phone, right here. And we call, and while we're on there, the first engineer is on there, he looks at the gyro and says, does the gyro read 184? It reads 184, good. So, excuse me. But yeah, and that's one of the very important things we do during, brain fart. During our pre-maneuvering checklist. There we go, pre-maneuvering check. As per 35 CFR 164.25, you have to do this within 12 hours of maneuvering. So that's the CFR, again, 35 CFR 164.25. And now we gotta go to the autopilot control. So here's for the 1 and the 2, and then the 3 and the 4 are right over there. And you have to go up to it and flip it off if you want to use the manual emergency mechanical lever. There you go, that's what you gotta do. And this one, the number 1 is highlighted in red, unlike the other ones, and this panel has the number 1 on it, and it's highlighted in red. That is because the number 1 pump, which is the most forward pump right here, number 1 pump is the only pump that is on the emergency bus, on the 440 volt emergency bus. That's the only one, but you only need one to power it. In case of emergency, in case we lose a plant, in case we lose, we're running on the EDG, That's the only one that will have power on an emergency bus. But yep, so it's pretty simple. It's not a very complicated system, It's very easy to learn. It only took me a couple times back here to really understand this. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, this is Andrew Kidd on the Hudson Express, and that was the beautiful steering gear. Thank you.